It started with a piece of paper nailed to my brand new fence. In bold letters, it read, "Remove immediately, HOA violation." I stood there in shock. I had spent weeks and thousands of dollars building this fence. I had city permits, approval, and receipts. Everything was legal. But the HOA claimed my fence ruined the look of the community. This wasn't about rules. This was about power. And I wasn't about to back down.
The next day, the HOA president showed up at my yard with workers holding tools ready to rip my fence out of the ground. And she didn't come alone. A police officer was with her. The president smirked and said, "You either take this fence down now or we will." I stood in front of my fence and shouted, "This is my property. You have no right." But the officer crossed his arms and told me to cooperate or face a fine. I felt bullied, outnumbered, and for the first time in my own home, powerless. That night, I sat at my kitchen table surrounded by documents. I pulled out the HOA bylaws. I pulled out my state's property laws. And most importantly, I pulled out my city permits. And guess what? I was 100% in the right. The HOA had zero authority over fences already approved by the city. They weren't just harassing me, they were breaking the law. I even printed photos of the officer standing by my fence, doing nothing while the HOA tried to intimidate me. I wasn't just going to defend my fence. I was going to expose them. When the trial started, the HOA board walked in looking smug. They thought they'd crush me like they had done to so many neighbors before. But my lawyer came prepared. He projected my city permits on the big courtroom screen for everyone to see. He read aloud the section of the HOA bylaws that proved they had no authority. And then he called the police officer to the stand. Under oath, the officer admitted the HOA pressured him to keep me in line. The jury gasped. The judge's face hardened. Right then, I saw it. The moment the HOA realized they had lost. When the gavel came down, it echoed like thunder. The HOA was ordered to pay me over $800,000 in damages. To cover the judgment, they had to hand over their prized office building, the same building where they schemed against homeowners. The board sat frozen, their smug grins replaced with pale, defeated faces. The police officer avoided eye contact, ashamed of how he'd been used. Today, my fence still stands tall and strong. But the HOA's office, that belongs to me now. Every month, those same board members who once threatened me now hand me a rent check just to sit in their old chairs. Even the officer who once stood against me tips his hat when he passes by. The same HOA that tried to tear down my fence built my victory. And I'll never forget the lesson. Sometimes the wall they try to tear down becomes the wall that protects you.